Hi, I'm Steve the Missionary, and I'm really excited about this video today. In my time working in the church and in my time just being a Christian, I have found that the strongest faith communities are people who are able to talk to each other about what is happening in their prayer life. I've also kind of found that I need to put a little bit more of myself into my videos. So in the spirit of those two things, I've decided to start a series of videos. Every month, I'm going to put out a video called How's Your Prayer Life with Steve the Missionary, where I will be talking about what happens in my prayer life. And if I haven't prayed that month, then you guys are going to hear about it. Sometimes the video is going to be just me, and sometimes it's going to be a collaboration with other people. So today I'm very excited to make this first video with Daniel and Anna Glaze from That Catholic Couple. Daniel and Anna, we're going to start with you. How is your prayer life? What is happening to you in your prayer life, and how can I pray for you?
Hey Steve, I would say prayer is going well. It's not extraordinary fruitful, and it's not bare. It's definitely well. It's been hard trying to find time to pray with how often we've been speaking here recently and how busy my 9-to-5 job is. I'm making a point to go to daily mass 3 times a week and confession every other week, and that has been probably the biggest constant in my prayer life here recently. And understanding how to pray as a husband and father has been my most recent hurdle. Another thing that's been constant in my prayer life is understanding how I need to lift up my daughter and my wife in my self-sacrifice, in my time and in things that make me happy, or like my relaxation time is giving that up to focus on my wife and child. Because I'm in an interesting place, like in this like middle ground limbo place where I feel like a lukewarm Catholic because I'm not as constant in my prayer like I was when I was single, and it's hard for me to find the small moments of seeing God in the small things as a husband and father. So like I'm like stuck in between those two. So that's where I would say my prayer life is right now.
So how is my prayer life? Well, it's definitely improved since the Anna Hates Prayer video that we made on our channel a couple of months ago. So the first one is, whenever we made that video, I forgot to be merciful to myself. So yes, there were a lot of times where I, in my own humanity and in my own weakness, was making justifications for my time of prayer and was just not desiring it at all. But there were other times where, in all honesty, I think I was doing good things. I was trying my hardest to even get a rosary in throughout the day, to read a scripture throughout the day. And to me, they just didn't feel like it was good enough because I wasn't going to a holy hour every day, or I wasn't studying scripture for as long as I wanted to throughout the week. And so I forgot to be kind and gentle to myself. It became almost like a list of right things and wrong things that I was doing, and everything fell on the wrong things that I was doing. And so it was just a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. And I felt like I wasn't trying hard enough in my relationship. But I kind of look back and I feel like God's presence was there through it all, just telling me like, this is okay. And me just convincing myself like, no, it's not. I'm not doing as good as you want me to. So I would say that, yeah, when I made that video, I forgot to be, merciful, even though Jesus is super merciful. So there's a little bit of pride in there too. And then the second thing was that I feel like I've improved on is that I forgot that my mental health also has a priority in my spiritual life, in my prayer life. So after Seek, there was a talk that Kristalina Everett did, and that she spoke a little bit about counseling. And I never thought about it that way, where counseling can be really good. Yes, Jesus heals us, and yes, Jesus can fix things in our lives and help us get through things in our lives. But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to reject every other kind of help that is out there. And so I'm happy to say that Daniel and I got to go to an initial session with a counselor here where we live, and I'm probably gonna go and start sessions with him soon. I'm very excited. My emotions have not been the most stable since postpartum, since after pregnancy, and not that I've been doing anything radical or different, it's just been a lot of things that are out of character for who I am. And I feel like that's been affecting really also my prayer life, where I'm just guilty, and I feel guilty, and I feel like a failure, and I'm not. I am doing good things. And so I'm excited to say that I'll be starting that, and I'm gonna ask Jesus to accompany me through it all, because I know he'll be there with me walking side by side. So I would say my prayer life is more focused now on seeing that it is okay to squeeze in prayer as a mom now, and make sure that I still get it in throughout the day, but that it's not gonna look the way that I planned it to be. And then also that my emotions and my mental stability do play an important part in my relationship with Jesus, and so I should really be taking care of that in in order to have a fruitful relationship with him and have a fruitful relationship with my husband and my daughter. So yeah, keep me in your prayers, guys. I'll be praying for all of you too, and I'll give you updates as I go along through this prayer journey.
Thank you so much for all of that. My prayer life is it's better. A big turning point recently in my prayer life was actually Seek. This was my third Seek in a row. 2 when I was working as a missionary, and this is my first one since I dropped out of focus. I think Ethan in that podcast, The Crunch, mentioned this for him. This is the third Seek in a row that I ended like the big, awesome adoration night, feeling like the only sad person in a room full of happy people, which is not fun at all. That night was kind of like this capstone moment of a year, basically, where me and Jesus didn't really get along. I've had for a very long time a big difficulty trusting God, really trusting God. And in that distrust, when I would go to pray, I would say awful things. And when I was done saying those things, I would feel terrible about myself. I don't enjoy feeling terrible about myself, so I would just stop praying. Awful idea. I would either not be praying or hate the things that I said when I was praying. And that was happening up until like early January this year. And I was talking to a missionary named Glenn. It was one of those conversations where for no reason, you're just like spilling your guts out to someone that you just met. And he was very sympathetic to my situation. The reason for the distrust, what I like to do is I like to convince myself that X, Y, and Z have been promised by God when they never have. And then when X, Y, and Z doesn't happen, I start to like lose hope, which is a problem. A lot of that was actually incentive for me to make those God doesn't have a plan for your life videos that came out of my problems in my own prayer. So I would do that and start to lose hope and start to not pray. And he was telling me, you have to go and you have to sit down in front of the Eucharist and don't say anything 20 minutes a day. And I hated that idea. I really did. But that's what I've been doing. Literally setting a timer on my phone, sitting in front of a tabernacle at a church, and then when the timer goes off 20 minutes later, I leave. Partially because, like, I want to leave. I'm done. Partially because, like, that's all I can handle. I'm getting back to the most basic elements of prayer. The whole last year, all of my prayer was about big things. What is my place in the world? What do you want me to do? All the things that you're calling me to. Now my prayer is very like, what's happening today? God, can you bless these people I'm working with? God, can you be with my family? God, can you just be with me? And it's simple and it's tiny, and I'm not giving much. I do the easy version of the prayer when the easy version is available to me. But that's what I have in me right now. And that's actually better than what it used to be. So I'm very grateful for Seek. I'm grateful for Glenn. I'm grateful for a phone timer. And all of those things together make for a beginning of having a prayer life I enjoy again. Recently, the only thing that I could say I was receiving from God is just the word to come to him. And that's all I'm doing in the most simple, uncomplicated, least grandiose way. I'm coming to Jesus. That's what's happening in my prayer life. I need your prayers in all of that, and I will be praying for you. And everybody else that's watching, tell us, how is your prayer life? What's happening? What's Jesus saying to you? Or even better, write down the name of the person that you're going to talk to face about how your prayer life is going and ask them the same thing. With these videos, I hope to make this community of video makers and video watchers into a community of prayer. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to Daniel and Anna. You guys are amazing, and I will see you all next time.